Hey dealers, in this episode, we've got a really different take on the future of the automotive industry. So we talk about the future a lot on this show, but we're going to talk about it in a little bit of a different context. We talk about a lot of stuff about the future of the industry in the next 3-5 years. We've talked about having a 5-year plan. We've talked about adapting to change, but we haven't talked about long term. And it's important to understand or gain an idea for yourself about what the long term of this industry looks like, especially if you are still early or mid career in your dealership. 25 years away is 2050. It's not that far away. So, in this episode, we've got a real kind of interesting take where we're going to look long range. And for this, we've got our recurring guest, Charles, here to join us, and we're going to talk about the future of the industry.
Welcome to Down Payment, the podcast for used car dealers. Prepare to learn something new about the industry that keeps us moving.
Check out all our podcast content on our social media channels. We are at Down Payment Podcast on YouTube, Down Payment Podcast on Instagram, and Down Payment Pod on X.
Hey, Ted.
Hey, Charles. Good to have you back on the show.
Good to be back.
It's been a minute since we've recorded with you, and it's good to have you back on the show because we're talking about something that is, I think, really important for the dealer that is looking strategically. We talk about the future in the short range an awful lot, but we haven't really talked about what does this industry look like in 25 years. It's hard to believe 25 years from now is 2050.
Absolutely. And I know that there's changes coming now. And I think the changes in 25 years are going to be much more dramatic than we've seen. There's dealerships are certainly not going to look the way they do now.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think that like looking at the last 25 years is a good like analog as far as the amount of change. If anything, I think it's going to look more like the dramatic change between, say, 1980 and 2005.
I think, to be honest with you, it's going to be like watching the Flintstones and the Jetsons. The technology is changing the way that we're doing business. And you introduce AI into that, and it's going to really change the way we do business. From marketing, from sales, from paperwork, from all of that, it's going to change everything in a very dramatic fashion.
I think that's kind of an interesting thing to think because, everyone's talking about AI and AI is already so omnipresent in our lives, but it's not highly integrated into our businesses. In 25 years, it's going to be like a light switch is to us.
Oh, I think in 25 years, it's going to be, if you can manage AI, you're going to be able to manage a business.
Yeah.
I think as we look now, we're looking at the way we communicate. We don't communicate in person anymore. We communicate online. We communicate with our phones, through texts and instant messages and all that. We don't see people face to face anymore, and I think that's going to become more prevalent in the auto industry, in how you sell cars and how you get service on cars, how you do the prep work on cars. I think it's going to change everything we do in a very dramatic fashion.
I think you're right. I think I can't see it being anything other than that.
It's coming, and we can fight it all we want to, but it is coming. I think if you look at the way some dealers are doing business now, Carvana, you're not driving the car. You're not looking at the car. You're going online. You're making a bid. You're doing whatever you can, and the car's delivered to your house, and it's done. There's no more walking around kicking the tires. I think that's a sign as to where we're going and how we're going to get there. I think it's the bottom line is, how are we going to adapt to make sure that we're in a stable environment to make sure we're ready to play in that atmosphere? And I don't think it's going to be 25 years before we really need to start changing.
So let me throw you a question. It's going to be the unpopular question, but the important question. Are independent used car dealers around in 25 years?
Oh, I think they will be. I just think the way that the independent car dealers do business is going to be very, very different.
I completely agree.
You may have a small car right now where you have one or two people, and and you're selling the cars and you're doing well. I think in 25 years, it's going to be more, rather than selling the cars, it's going to be more about servicing the cars and getting those things taken care of and getting the little nicks and dings and noses in the engine taken care of versus the someone in to sell cars, because I don't believe we're going to have lots anymore. You're not going to walk around and kick the tires anymore. It's just not going to happen.
I could definitely see the growth of alternate retail models in this industry a lot, where you don't necessarily keep a traditional lot of cars, and really what you're providing is facilitation of the sale and the reconditioning of the inventory. I could see that being something that is where you get creative dealers that work to get alternative retail models that are a lot more successful in the future. I could definitely see that.
Well, if you look at it now versus what it could be, the internet sales is amazing. I have a person I know that works for a major dealership, and on the 23rd of September, which was just they sold their first car, and it's a major dealership. However, the internet sales are working. The marketing on internet sales is working. People are just not on the lot. People are just not walking in saying, I want to look at that car. Can I drive that car? Maybe I want it, maybe I don't want it. People are very specific about what they want and what they can afford. And I think in 25 years, you're going to have AI who's going to be able to handle all of that for you, who's going to be able to assist you in all of that. And in order to be successful, we're going to have to jump on that wagon, because that's what's coming.
I actually have a prediction, and I don't think this is 25 years out, but it probably is 10 or 15 years out. I think that the successful independent used car dealers are going to be in a model where they are selling in all 50 states, or at least all 48 contiguous states. I think that it's going to be kind of a buy here, sell anywhere type of model, where you are selling your car to out-of-state residents, out-of-state buyers, that shipping cars becomes a lot more common. And I think that is much more consistent with an internet-first retail model.
Absolutely. And I think that's where the successful independent dealer is going to be. They're going to be, and I don't think I agree with you, it's not going to be 25 years. I think it's going to be 10 or 15 years before you've expanded coast to coast, border to border. I think that's where the sales is going to happen. I think you're going to have consumers who are smart enough to say, here's kind of what I want, here's the price range I want it in, and how we're going to get this taken care of.
I think so. I mean, I look at how many friends of mine have already bought cars out of state entirely online, including from independent dealers. I kind of see that coming now. It's going to be an interesting challenge for the industry and regulators, because we operate on such a patchwork of state regulation as far as the licensing and regulation of dealers. And those purchases across state lines are kind of high risk purchases. And there's going to be some interesting evolution, I think, is going to be necessary there for that to really take off. But I think it's coming regardless.
I think as we move forward, legislation is going to change, because it's going to become such a prevalent way of how we're doing business. I think that legislators now are looking at things that are saying, well, before we could handle this in one state, but now they're going nationwide. We're going to have to make some changes in the way we do things. Even down to funding and financing. It's going to happen online. You may not even know where you're financed from, because when you put in that application to buy the car, it could go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It can go anywhere. It's not like you went to your bank again and saying, hey, I want this, which I believe is going to be the same thing. I think the brick and mortar banks, I think their time may be up sooner than anything else, which is going to change the way we do business also.
Absolutely. And it's interesting to hear that from you, coming from, a background where you worked for brick and mortar banks.
I think even right now, I don't remember the last time I went into my bank. Other than if I was doing something different, but it's going to be the same thing. We are becoming a society where we don't have to go look people face to face anymore. You do everything online. You do everything without that face to face contact. And I think the generations that are coming up, they're really pushing that issue.
That is so true. I think that's one of the big trends to really emphasize. Like, it's what's the diplomatic way of putting this? It's not my old friends that are buying cars entirely online. It's my young friends that are buying friends entirely
Absolutely.
online across state lines, and in ways that honestly I like recommend against. Like, you don't have the same level of consumer protection as you do going to a dealer in person, but they are so less comfortable with that in-person experience than they are the online experience. They're willing to take those heightened risks of buying a car sight unseen, taking delivery through a transporter, and getting that car, from 1,000 miles away.
If we think about when we go buy a car now, especially in the small independent dealership, you have a very limited option you can pick from because you may not have 1,000 cars on your lot. You may only have about 30. Driving the car around the block, what does that really tell you? You're kind of doing it now. You're just kicking the tires versus anything else. You can do the very same thing online. You can even take a virtual ride to see what the car looks like inside. You can do all of that online. And what would be the point of now taking most of your time to go spend time in a dealership to fill all this paperwork when you can do it online in the comfort of your own home? And I think
Absolutely.
in 25 years, it's going to even be easier to do that because the new generations coming up, they're going to change the legislation. They're going to push the flow of what we do and how we go about doing it. And so some of the older people who still like to go out and touch and feel, and that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And this technology, as technology gets better and better and becomes more, and we become more comfortable with in our everyday life, we are going to find out that it is much easier. Much easier. The other part of that is, and there was a study coming out to talk about how people are waiting until they're 23, 24, 25 to get their driver's license even.
Yeah.
That's going to be another change. Is everybody going to have driver's license, or is this younger group saying, you know what, I can take the light rail anywhere anywhere I want to. I can take public transportation anywhere I want to because having the car is not exactly everything that I need at this point in time.
And I think that's also where the dealers and as public relations for our industry, we have to sell the concept of the car again. The opportunities and the freedom and all of that it provides, and it does provide and deliver a very uniquely American experience where we have these big interstate systems and the wide open roads and the parks and the lifestyle that attaches to it. I think there is something very positive to sell there, and I don't think we sell that enough. I think we so narrowly pigeonhole our marketing in this industry to we deliver the best customer service possible, don't go anywhere
Absolutely.
else, and every dealer says that, and there's no differentiation, and as a result we're just marketing meaninglessness.
And customer service is now going to become, as you see more and more, you're going to be talking to an AI generated customer service rep who are going to answer all your questions in that nice, calm, sweet tone voice, who's going to do everything they can to assist you. And we're not going to have to worry about one-on-one, shake your hand, hey Ted, how you doing? That's going to be gone.
We're going to be marketing in the future. We've got the best AI of all the dealerships in this town.
Absolutely. That's where quality is going to make a difference. If you're selling cars that are breaking down and you're having all kinds of issues, that's going to make a difference because there may not be anywhere for them to go. You're going to have it's going to be the price point. Who's selling the best car at the best price? Because now with small independent or buy here, pay here, you're willing to pay a little bit more. But as things change, are people going to even try to change what makes a good credit score?
Yeah. I mean, we've certainly seen how buyers have become a lot more price sensitive, even in the deep subprime markets. They're a lot more conscientious about the total price.
Because let's be real, we live in Colorado, and in Colorado, there are places you still need to drive. But as rapid transit changes, it's going to be okay. If I can't get what I want, I'll just stay on the light rail. I'll stay on rapid transit. I'll get on public transportation. I'll get to where I have to go. It's going to cost me a little bit more time. And if in fact I need that over the road experience, I have a friend who has a car. They'll get us there.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And with the advent, and then there's Uber, and then there's Uber taking you where
rideshare.
you want to go.
Well, for that matter, how many of the cars are autonomously driven in 25 years?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, and that's where dealerships have to start thinking now about utilization of AI and utilization of technology and more online sales rather than having somebody come in. I think that's where we're going to have to we need to start looking at now. And I don't think it's 25 years out. I think that's coming sooner than later.
Yeah, I think you're right.
When you see that Carvana and some of the other dealerships who don't have salespeople, they have customer service reps who help you walk through the process. When you get to the lot, there's one or two or three cars, and that's what you wanted. There you go. You pick out the car and you go home. And I don't think it's going to be 25 years. I think 25 years out, it's going to be totally online. It's going to be totally talk about service and price point. I think in 25 years, it's going to be if you can't give me what I want, then I just may need to wait. I want the Mercedes, and the Mercedes is too much money now. Well, maybe I'll just stay on public transportation, save my money till I can afford to buy what I can buy because I can get wherever I want to go.
I think you're right about expect a more price sensitive buyer going forward.
But I think we're seeing that now. I think in today's time, and I'm again that people are becoming very price point sensitive. They're becoming very, very the best bang for my buck.
So we've talked a lot about kind of what the relationship with the customer is, and the external side, the public facing side of the dealership. I think this might be a good breaking point for us to take a break. And in our next episode, let's talk about the inside of a dealership. What does it look like operating and running a dealership from the inside in 25 years?
Certainly.
Any parting thoughts for this episode?
Change is coming, folks. We better grab on and hold on.
Absolutely. Well, with that, go sell some cars, dealers, and we'll be back to you shortly with another episode of Down Payment.
Put your comments put your comments below. Let us know what you think.
We'd love to hear. Check out our podcast on all our social media channels. We are at Down Payment Podcast on YouTube, Down Payment Podcast on Instagram, and Down Payment Pod on X.
Thank you for listening. Down Payment, the podcast for used car dealers, is a production of Meta Financial Services Incorporated.